So I'm here at the North Simcoe Rail Trail on its slowest access at Pine Tree Road or something like that. I forget the name. I think it's on the sign here. And so behind me here will be the direction north. So let's get it. There we go. And that's where I hopefully will be able to go a fair ways today. And then, but there's a section south of here too. Now I guess it's a holler match over the land. You can see it continues south and for 2 or 3K, and then I guess it runs out of land. Probably some kind of an argument, like I said, over who's willing to own. When you go down south of here, the next road crossing, there's still actual ties and rails on the bed, so you really can't ride on it very well. So this is sort of the beginning here. And the goal today, if everything works out, would be to go south here and come back, and then head north to Penetanguishine and back. So I'm hoping for 100 kilometers at least before we're done here today. So that's sort of the big plan. And bike's all loaded up. We got lots of food and drink and everything else. So hopefully it'll be a good day. So I'm at the end of the south end of the North Simcoe Rail Trail. That's where I rode, and if we come around here, you'll see the how the trail degrades now into an ATV trip. So that's probably the end of the land deal, and so we're not going to go any further on that. And then we'll turn around now and head north and see how far and how things work out. But it looks like a nice day so far. It's a nice breeze blowing from the northwest. It's not humid today, maybe 25 or so C as the day goes on. So it's shaping up. So we'll see how it goes. So we're a little north of the menacing road crossing, George Johnson Road crossing. And here we get a little taste on the boundary of the menacing swamp, enormous wetland. That's this is just on the edge of it. In fact, this is on the opposite edge of it. And most of it is behind me and a bit further west. The wetlands in Ontario were an enormous source of diversity. Unfortunately, the settlement of Ontario has resulted in almost all of these being drained. There are very few. This is probably one of the biggest that I can think of, other than maybe the Luther Marsh, which has been recreated anyway, that's left. So it's a pretty special place, and most of it's trackless, of course, and difficult to get to, but it's kind of neat. The rail trail takes us right through an area like this. So we're about a little over 10 kilometers into the ride. That trail you see there is where I've come from, and this is where I'm going to. A number of years ago, Frank and I hiked from Anton Mills, which is a little ways that way, down to Fort Pillow, which we've already passed, and back one time in the winter time. But this is my first time here when things are green. It's really a beautiful place, and so far I haven't met anybody on the trail, so it's been completely quiet, which is really kind of special. So anyhow, that's our stop here. All right, I'm here at Floss Road 7 West, and this is where the trail breaks. It's an interesting story. So this is where I came from. There was a run of 2 or 3K that was pretty churned up. Now I don't know if that was just because they laid the gravel or the ATVs have been there. I'm not sure which, but I took the road on that because it's just too sticky. But this was fine right here, and we finally had a little bit of a downhill after about 12K of climbing, so it's sure going to be nice going home. Anyhow, the story here is that you can see behind me, there's no trail. And what happened here was that when they pulled up the railroad, the farmer bought the land, whatever the deal was. Remember that the railroads owned the land in which they had their tracks, and so when they pull the tracks up, a farmer can't just start, plow that over and start growing crops on it. It's not his property, and so this was something that I guess in the interregnum between when the track was pulled and they decided to make it a trail, that the farmer came ahead and bought the land either from the railroad or the town. So we have to make a detour here of about 3 or 4 kilometers. We're going to go that way, down the road and around a corner and so on, and up past those trees there. We pick the tracks up again on the next section. So it's just an interesting story. There are, of course, examples. The ones I'm aware of are in the United States, where the farmer just plowed it over, and of course later had to give it back. This wasn't something that they could just do. And so this is, in this case, this is of course the way to do it, where you actually purchase the land and make good on it. So anyhow, onward. As we're about 25 kilometers into things today, and of course 4 kilometers of that was this morning, the first section, so 21k from the car. And of course the goal is to go 100 today. I don't know. The uphill parts at least are going out, which is good, but the trail's kind of sticky in places, and we'll have to see just how that works. But it is certainly a beautiful day. This summer of 2019 has just been day after day of sunshine and relatively low humidity compared to what it can be here. So we're very fortunate indeed. See the landscape too here. Good old farming Ontario. There's still lots of it around. Well, I'm now about 42, 43 into this, and there's been a couple of detours. Let's do it this way. There, we see more that way. There was the detours due to the purchase, which there was 2 of those, and then a second detour because they're fixing the trail. So I had to ride on the road, and County Road 6 is pretty busy. So you really have to mind that white line, and there's not a lot of space. So it's something to think about depending on your experience. After that, it's been very nice. Up through Wyville here and so on. Pretty good surface and not a lot of bumps and everything else. So I'm, the seating pain and so on isn't too bad today. And I'm hoping we'll be a little quicker going back because there's been a lot of uphill coming this way. So that's sort of how we stand right now. Got, like I said, about 14 in a Penetanguishine, which is the turn point. So I've arrived here about 15 minutes ago. This is the Rotary Park in Penetanguishine. So there's the bike and my little park bench, and what I've been looking at is the bay, and it's beautiful. So it took me pretty close to 4 hours to get here. Aside from my own fitness issues, the trail feels more uphill, and we'll see that going back, I guess. But it just certainly feels like there's a lot of uphill pitches, and of course we had the wind just still blowing, thankfully. Hopefully that'll help as well when the open space is to push me along. So I'm hoping, I hope to leave here just around 4 o'clock, and that gives me 4 hours of daylight. And I'm hoping to be back faster, so I should get to the car before the sun goes down. So that's the kind of plan. But so just taking a bit of a break here for a few minutes and resting the body, a little bit gassed, so I had some to eat, and we'll see what happens. Anyhow, a beautiful day, a really beautiful day. Well, hello there. I didn't make any video on the way back. Going home was an ordeal. When I got to Penetanguishine, I had a 556 on it, and I had to ride 53 back to get to here. And to get out of Penetang, I had to climb a 3 kilometer long hill. It was a lot, and fairly soon after that, I started getting cramps in my legs and pretty much everywhere. So I drank the 2 Gators ahead with me, which helped. But the whole way home was an ordeal, mostly from the cramping than anything else. But it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful trail. For me, it's a little painful today, but I'm pretty proud of the accomplishment. 109 on rail trail grit and wind in my face in parts of it. It's not bad for an old fella. So we're all done. Thanks for watching.